Now, just another point in relation to the stepper motor itself. So you might have seen that the other video we had it starting, pointing in the upward direction. Now, my system's currently turned off here at the moment. So what assumption I've made within the code is that as soon as you turn on the system, the embed, you're basically assuming that you're in the closed position. Okay. Now, we've no real way of monitoring this from what we've got here, unless you had some additional sensors on the basically the stepper motor itself. You could then know if you're at the home position or not. But because this completely spins 360 degrees, we've no way of referring to what the home position is at the moment. Again, you could add in maybe some user interface down here below that moves it into a home position at the start, but unless you're getting some feedback from the motor, we just have to assume that the motor is always starting at the home position. So wherever it is, we're basically assuming that when we turn on the system, that this is our closed position and that the window is closed and that we're at the home. Then basically when we run it, if we do get a temperature that's above the set temperature, and well, if we actually had it turned on our stepper motor, it would have moved forward. But we'll have a look at the stepper motor moving now in a bit. But it's just important to note that we don't have basically a reference for our home position, so we're just assuming when we turn on the system that we are in a closed position, and we're going to take it from wherever we are to close it back, okay? Because as we move this, we're able to count how many steps we go forward, so then that means we know how to go back to our starting point. But it's just when you initially start, you've no way of knowing what orientation you're in there at the moment from this system anyway. So you need a bit more complicated system. So they're just a couple of kind of things to watch out for and things to talk about and things to be aware of when you're designing this system. Right, so we'll try and capture the system working. So I'm just going to reset it, and we should be able to see the motor move open a bit. So we get a welcome message. We've got nothing at the start, and our target temperature is 20 seconds. Now we're going to take a reading here in every 10 seconds, so it will eventually update and the motor should move straight away. So you might have caught that it moved straight away, because basically we might see it move again. We're at 24 degrees, so it is greater than basically our set temperature and our previous temperature, so the temperature reading has settled there quite a bit. Now what way I've set this up is basically if it increases by a full degree, we're going to open the window that bit further. So it's kind of in a proportional mode at the moment, that we're only gradually increasing the window as the temperature increases. Okay, so we're not just fully opening the window or fully closing the window, although we will look at that kind of scenario as well. So if I just hold the temperature sensor, kind of heat it up a wee bit, you'll see it increased again there by a full temperature, because we've got the comparison there between the two of them, and the motor again moved a little bit. So you might not have seen it there, it happened fairly quickly. You would have also seen the green LED come on as well during that. I might be able to get to do it again if I can heat it up just a bit more from my hand. Gotta wait every 10 seconds for a reading. Yeah, so that happened. We've heated it up, it's quite warm in the room, so I'm able to heat up the temperature sensor a wee bit. So that's it gradually opening, and what I actually do here is I have a switch that can change it into this kind of proportional mode that we're talking about here, that as it continues to get hotter and hotter, we're basically opening the window gradually. Or you can put it into sort of basic mode, where it just, if you're greater than 20 degrees, it's going to fully open the window, and if it's lower than it, it's going to fully close it. And I've basically set it as at about 180 degrees max for the motor to turn, to say that's the window opening. But again, excuse me, that's something that you've got to think about and got to consider as well, about how you monitor, has it got to 180 degrees or not. Now we might, if I can, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to heat up the temperature sensor again, just to show you it closing back. closing back down. Now when we close it back down, it doesn't actually, so I'm still just heating it up here by putting my hand on it, kind of rubbing it. Now when we're closing it back down, we'll get it back to the home position that it started at. So I'm also just going to increase my set temperature to 30 degrees. So if it gets lower, there it is there, you can see it moving, the red light's on, and it's actually back at the start position. Because I just increased basically the target temperature that I was looking for, because I would never get it down to 20 degrees lower. So that was just some of the user interface there. So you see it doesn't close proportionally. Basically that motor doesn't close the window proportionally. You see it was gradually opening proportionally. Because like I said, every time it opens, all I'm doing is I'm just accumulating that data into a variable. So if it moved 20 degrees, or an angle of 20 degrees, store that. If it moved another 20 degrees, right, well now we know we've opened at 40 degrees in total. So you're just kind of adding that value up, storing that value up, and then when we finally get a drop, if it's to close, then we know we got to go back 40 degrees or whatever it is, we can look at that. So I can always get it back to the home position that we started at, but again, we're just always taking that whenever we turn the system on, we're in the closed position. So that's just showing you some of the different modes, kind of proportionally increasing the motor as we go along. Then just to show the kind of basic mode, if I turn on my switch here, that's basically telling me I want it to be into basic mode, so not into proportional mode. So if we get greater than the set temperature, I just want it to go ahead and open the window. So we should be able to see that if I turn it off and turn it back on again, the target temperature is only 20 degrees. It's pretty warm in this room, so the temperature is at about 24 degrees or something already. So I know as soon as it gets that reading, the window should open, and you'll see it comes around 180 degrees, green light's on, and then there we are.